Good morning. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Andrea Smith. I have the privilege of being the pastor here at West. And whether you're worshiping with us here in person or you're worshiping with us online, we are grateful for you. There are lots of things that you could have been doing this morning, like sitting on 150. I was so proud of myself this morning. I left the office at 9:40, which that's early for me, and because it takes like 3 minutes to get here, and it took 20. And I'm like, oh my, it's 9:57, and I'm sitting on 150 still. And so I wrote the worship team. They all greeted me outside this morning, and so thank you. Sorry, Dave, for causing you undue stress, and I'll leave earlier next time. But my point is, clearly, there are lots of people out and about. They are doing stuff, and you could be too, but you chose to be here. So whether you're here right now, you're worshiping online, or you're listening throughout the week on our podcast, we're really grateful you chose West. We have a VIP tent stationed out front. If you're newer to West, it doesn't have to be your first time, but if you're newer here, we'd love for you to go by that tent. Let us know that you're here. If you're worshiping online, you can scan the QR code and let us know that you're here. We have a gift that we'd love to share with you, and then you can choose whether you hear from us or not. That's completely and totally up to you. There's a couple of housekeeping things I wanted to talk to you about for just a minute, so if you'd allow me a few moments of personal privilege this morning. It has nothing to do with the message series. It just has to do with life and West. And so first, I wanted to show you this. This is the new logo that we are getting ready to launch for Soul Creations. If you don't know what Soul Creations is, I'm going to tell you. Several years ago, we had and we are still working on it, had a young adult ministry that was getting ready to kick off. And they felt like it would be fun and cool if they made products together. So we dabbled in lots of different things, most of which we were not good at all, like resin and pottery. And finally, we stumbled upon making some candles. And the young adults got together, made some candles, and then a very nice person that had a booth at Marino's downtown near Barcelona and Alinos gave us a shelf in their booth. That's how Soul Creation started. So we had one little shelf in her booth, and lo and behold, over the next 6 months, our candles started to sell, and some jewelry. And so then, ultimately, after Christmas, she's like, look, my stuff's not selling. I feel like you guys could make this work if you would just scale it up a little. And so she let us acquire the booth, which has, over the last year, taken off. Like, it started $500-600 a month, and we averaged sales like that for 6 to 9 months. And honestly, over the last 2 months, we've sold over $1,400 and $1,500 worth of stuff per month. Yeah, that's really cool. It's also really cool that our average price point is $10 an item. So I'll let you do the math. When you sell $1,500 worth of $10 items, that's a lot of stuff. So what has happened is folks have started saying, hey, I'll volunteer. And so we have folks that come 1 day a week to the office. We have folks that have volunteered to take stuff home. And as soon as we get organized enough, we're going to do that again. And we've started having stuff at night once or twice a month to produce the product. Because my first love is being a pastor, not a candle maker. And so I like it. It's fun. But I'm really a better pastor, I think, than a candle maker. Well, I hope you think so, too. But so anyway, over the last 3 to 4 months, we have had just crazy doors open for us. We now have the full booth at Marino's E2. We have a storefront booth in Strawberry Fields in Denver, which actually made more money the first month than I thought it would. So we'll see how that works. Now, another organization reached out to us because we are a nonprofit, and they offered us a cheaper space in their location, and full exclusivity of product, which that's a big deal. There's not 10 other people making candles. And so tomorrow we open that storefront, And then on Friday, I had a meeting with a lady that owns a business downtown called the Refillery. And she's like, I won't charge you a dime. Just let me carry your products. And so I'm having these conversations like I'm a small business owner and I don't know crap about what I'm talking about. And so I'm doing a lot of research on what that means and talking to a lot of people. But what that also means is I'm trying to do two things. I'm trying to pastor and I'm trying to get this small business up and running. 20 years ago in the life of churches, people did this thing called tithing. What tithing means, and don't tune me out, just hear me out. What tithing means biblically is you give 10% of your income. So that means before even Uncle Sam takes out your taxes, depending on who you're talking to, or after, you give 10% automatically to a church. Now, people still you give to support the operations of a church, but that whole tithe concept, it is long gone. In a few weeks at annual conference, where all the United Methodists get together once a year to vote on what we believe and who we are as far as in our region and talk about what happens at general conference, we have workshops talking about how to fund the churches in alternative ways. Like, what does that look like? Most of the conversations are around how to use your facility. Like, lots of churches are now leasing out their facilities for small businesses and stuff. We don't own a facility, so that's not helpful. So what we've decided as leadership is that we're going to bank on soul creations. Like, if we can sell $1,500 worth, we've got people working on how to turn this into a profit. Right now, we spend what we make on new product, but there's people way smarter than me working on that. And so I'm asking for your grace. If you send me an email, it might be a long time. The best way to get in touch with me is to text me, because I always have my phone, sadly. But I'm telling you that for multiple reasons. First of all, please don't stop giving to the church because you think Soul's going to take off and we don't need your money. That's not a good, sustainable business plan. But I want you to pray about it, because anytime we have bold vision, it needs to be just absolutely covered in prayer. And this does not need to be my crafts hobby. It needs to be a sustainable business plan so that we can fund the missional ministries of our church. And since we're a missional church, that's pretty much all the ministries. So what's happening right now is a big deal. To have 4 or 5 stores carrying our stuff is scary. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm trying really hard. And so I'm just asking that you give me some grace. My first passion, and where I spend most of my time, is on creating content for you, whether it's on the stage or digital. And then my second passion is to care for the sick and the dying, and then soul comes in third. So that's sort of where we are as a church. Wanted you to know that. The other thing that's like just so important is the Back to School Bash. That's coming up in July. I think it's July the 19th, and then the one in Old Fort is August the 16th. A really cool and powerful thing happened this past week. The conference was given so much money for disaster response. They have created a grant process that you can write in and receive funds if you're doing disaster response work that directly impacts a community. So we were able to write in and request $40,000 to put the bash on at Old Fort. The bash usually costs anywhere between $40,000 and $65,000. Ours cost about $60,000, and so we're hoping because the one in Old Fort will be smaller, it won't cost as much. That's what we're banking on. And lots of people are like giving us discounts to do the entertainment and stuff. God's clearly at work in all that, but we need you to be at work in it too. I mean, there's just no way that 10 of us can pull off the bash at Old Fort. So what I'm asking you to do now is to put in your memory bank or your calendar, August the 16th, that's a Saturday. Will you go with us to Old Fort to host the bash? We're going to start it at 8:45 to 9:30. 8:45 for the teachers there to come first, and then it'll open to the public at 9:30. And the other thing that I'm asking, and this is a big ask, it makes my stomach hurt a little, but the Sunday before that, we are going to have a no huddles day at Old Fort. We always have a no huddles day here at Mooresville Middle, and I realize that no huddles days are not always comfortable because some of us would just rather sit and listen, and it's awkward if you have to be around a bunch of people you don't know and all that kind of stuff. But it takes all that to make the bash happen. So we go to Mooresville Middle. Well, Old Fort, it's an hour and a half away, and I know what I'm asking of you. I'm not asking you to do both, but would you consider doing one or the other, the Sunday before or the Saturday, or if you're feeling really sacrificial, you could do both. But you're changing people's lives. Old Fort gets to open this fall. It'll be the first time the faculty and the students have been back in their school building since the hurricane, and they wanted the bash to be a part of their grand reopening, which was just so cool that they believe in us enough and that the conference believes in us enough to give us $40,000. So that's where we are with those things. For our back to school bash, we need sponsors. We have about 25,000. We still need about 25,000. So if you have a dentist, ask them. If you have a doctor's office, ask them. If you have a hairdresser, ask them. We need sponsors in so many ways. So if you know somebody that's got a willingness to be a sponsor for the bash, we really are asking you to ask them. Online people, this is your chance. You don't even have to live here to meet us in Old Fort. Of course, if you'd have to fly, don't do that. But, if you can drive from your space to Old Fort, that'd be amazing too. Now, lastly, today is graduation Sunday. These people have been a part of our faith community. Some of them set up and tear down relentlessly and give of their time and their talents. And we're really glad that they are here after worship. There's going to be nice refreshments and stuff out in the commons area. Stop and tell them thank you and good luck with what they endeavor in the future. Also, graduates, you've got a chance to win free prizes. The opening illustration of the message today is going to be a game, like a game show. And we have 3 prizes to give away. I'm going to be looking for 3 volunteers when we start the message in just a minute. So be thinking about, would you like to win a cool free prize? But I would like for you now to take a look at our graduates and keep them in your prayers as they go on their next journey.
Congratulations to the class of 2025. We are so proud of you, and we are so excited to see all of the amazing adventures that are ahead. Aubrey Atwood graduated from graduate school from Walden University with a Master's of Social Work and a specialization in trauma. Aubrey plans to continue her amazing work and work with Thrive Counseling as a mental health therapist with a specialization in trauma. Congratulations, Aubrey. Emma Bishop graduated graduate school from Winthrop University with an MBA in concentration in strategic leadership. She currently works for Ally Bank. Congratulations, Emma. Reagan Eshelman graduated from Mooresville High School. She graduated on the A Honor Roll and was involved with student government as an officer. She was also a member of the FCCLA, Book Club, and Diversity Club. In the fall, Reagan will be attending SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design. Congratulations, Reagan, and go Blue Devils. Jacob Levis graduated from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. During his senior year, he was the group leader for his final project. Jacob plans to head straight into work post-graduation. Congratulations, Jacob, and go 49ers. Macy Lynch graduated cum laude from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte with a bachelor's degree in history. After graduation, Macy plans to teach high school history. Congratulations, Macy, and go 49ers. Tabitha Monroe graduated from Acelius Academy. Throughout high school, Tabitha has been very involved with our Unstoppable Youth Group and was working as a gymnastics coach at Flying High Academy. She plans to pursue a career in child development. Congratulations, Tabitha. Molly Rano graduated from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro with a bachelor's in psychology. She plans to become a children's trauma therapist in the future. Congratulations, Molly, and go Spartans. Kylie Spangler graduated from Appalachian State University with a Bachelor's of Science in Child Development with a concentration in Family and Child Studies and a minor in Psychology. After graduation, Kylie plans to follow her passion and pursue a career in working with children as a behavior analyst. Congratulations to Kylie, and roll Nears. Louisa Turner graduated magna cum laude with majors in geography and political science and a minor in data science from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. She loved teaching middle school girls how to code, meeting lifelong friends, and making many Tar Heel memories. Louisa accepted a job with Cultivated Power, a solar power company, as a data analyst in Chicago, Illinois. Congratulations, Louisa, and go Heels. Cassidy Weatherford graduated from Appalachian State University with a bachelor's degree in management and a minor in human resources. During her time at Appalachian, she was a member of AO Pi sorority. After graduation, Cassidy is going to enjoy a trip to Amsterdam and then look for a job. Congratulations, Cassidy, and roll Nears. Congratulations to the class of 2025. We are so proud of you and so excited for all of the amazing things that you will continue to do. Cheers to you.
So this morning we're talking about friendship. We've been talking about Mel Robbins and her let them theory. And so if you've missed any of the messages, I invite you to go back. You can find our meditations or devotions on our website. But she has this theory that helps us have like a really good, solid life. It's called Let Them. And we believe as followers of Jesus, as followers of the way, it's what he taught too. It's what he did. It's what he practiced. And like Jesus was like the ultimate best friend. I know sometimes we give the disciples a bad rap and we think, oh man, they stank or sucked, frankly, because they dissed him there at his last hour, and we would not have done that. But frankly, probably we would have. We diss each other. We forget each other. We get so busy and consumed in our life that we forget to be fully present for our friends. So this morning, I want to just totally reset our baseline for how we think about friendship. Mel Robbins has great information on this. I'm going to send out some links to some YouTube videos that she has. She's done a couple of interviews and podcasts about the power of friendship, the lies we tell ourselves about friends. We don't have all day to go through all that here. Plus, that's also not the point. I'm not your psychologist. But what the point is to take psychological principles, tie them into our spirituality. And there's no better way to do that than to think about friends and how Jesus lived his life with his friends. So much so that when his life ended, even though they might not have been right there, the guys at least, not a dig at the guys, but the guys sort of fled the scene at the crucifixion. The women stuck around. After it was over, and after they experienced the resurrected Christ, they were all willing to go to the mat for him, so much so that most of them were killed because of their passion and their following Jesus and what ultimately became the religion of Christianity. So they were willing to lay it all on the line for their friend. What I want us to think about today is, who are our friends? And there's this misnomer that we need to have 10 or 12 people, our tribe or whatever, to have good friends. And frankly, that's not true either, and Robbins teaches a lot about that. So what I want us to think about this morning is, who are your friends? In the terms of Grey's Anatomy, who's your person or your people? And what does that mean? And how do we get friends? And what happens when friendships go away? To start off with, I do want to have a game this morning. And so we are going to turn up the lights. I'm looking for 3 volunteers. You do not have to all be college students. So if you would raise your hand if you would like to play the game. And I promise it's not painful. Very good. I think Molly Rano just got volunteered. And so great. Molly, give her a hand. I need 2 more people. I'm going to volunteer you. Thank you. Right back there. My eyesight is really bad and I cannot see anymore. So whoever that is. Reagan. Yay. Reagan, I hope you didn't get voluntold as well. Sharon Spencer. All right, good. I needed another generation up here. So give all 3 of these people. I don't mean that ugly towards Sharon. Originally, when I thought about this game, I thought about getting 3 different people from 3 different generations, and I thought that's too hard. So I figured y'all could either volunteer or voluntold. So what you're going to do in just a minute, and there are your fancy prizes that you get. In just a minute, you are going, I know, right? It's why I can't see anything. In just a minute, you're going to turn around, and we're going to all come right here, like in line with me. Oh, and online people, I have an option for you as well. I didn't leave you out this time. When the scenes of the friends come up on the screen, online folks, I want you to type their names in the chat room as fast as possible. And after worship, I'm going to get with Dave and look at the chat room and see who got the most right, and then you get a Soul Creations gift card. And I hope that's something that you'd like. If not, too bad. So, in just a minute, if what? You don't have to. This is not about the show. So you're going to guess in just a minute, and I realize I didn't tell you what to do. In just a minute, y'all are going to turn around, and there are going to be images, but we're going to do them one at a time, an image of a set of friends. I'm going to be standing right here. And so whoever takes a step towards me first gets to answer, okay? That way we're not arguing over one another, right? And people out in the audience / congregation, I want you to see if you know who these friends are too, okay? Now go ahead, turn around. Now whoever steps towards me the first gets to answer. That would be Molly. Very good. Harry Potter and Ron, you may go back. All right, everybody know how to play now? We good? Online people, you type it in the chat room. Ready? Oh, that was a tie. I'm going to err on Sharon for the generational gap. Sorry. Fred and Barney. How many of you out there knew this one? Reagan, I'm so impressed that you knew it. Molly, did you? You didn't know the other one. All right, ready? Molly, SpongeBob and Patrick. Very good. Really? All right, people, tell them. Beavis and Butthead. I've always wanted to say Butthead in church. You know, there's a new, not really, but that felt good. All right, ready? Sharon, I had hope. All right. Cheech and Chong. I don't, okay. Well. Oh my gosh. I feel like these games we play sometimes just crash and burn, and I'm feeling like this is one of those times. Do y'all know who these people are? Yes, who are they? Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, or however you say his last name. All right, next. This is awful. All right, y'all say the one you know. All right. Okay. Martha Stewart, I will never do this again. This is the worst. I'm so sorry. We'll only play a game on Christmas Eve, and then that'll go bad too. But anyway, I hope we're almost finished. I can't keep count. Come on. One of them is now an astronaut. See, some of you follow social media. All right. You know Oprah. Who's the other one? Gayle King, who's now an astronaut. Okay. Is that it? Come on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Give them a hand. Give me a hand, because that was, I'm so sorry. Like, I put y'all through that. So, Molly, would you like a Bath and Body Works or a Yeti or luggage packer cubes. These are the random things that just live in my office. I'm not kidding. I found this all in my office today. Yeti or luggage cubes? It's the cubes. Your grandchildren will want it. And I got you all a plastic Jesus. I was hoping some of our college students would be here. Let him always be a reminder that that's who you follow. All right, give him a hand. So those are, or we're supposed to, well, y'all got them, iconic friendships. Friendships matter. The people we do life with, it matters. And so this morning, I just want us to spend some time thinking about, like, who do you do life with? Who are your people? And we have, like, unfair expectations of ourselves about friendship. And like I said earlier, we think we need to have 10 or 12 people. And then when we don't, we feel like failures and we start beating ourselves up. And so this morning, with the words of Mel Robbins and also with the words of Jesus, I just want us to think about friendship for a few minutes. Listen to these words. Jesus gave a pretty clear definition on what it meant to be a friend. This is from John chapter 13. I've told you these things for a purpose, so that my joy, this joy that I have, that I'm living my life by, might be your joy. And your joy can be complete. This is my commandment: love one another in the way that I loved you. This is the very best way to love. Put your life on your line for your friends. You are my friends when I do the things I've commanded you. And remember what he commanded them to do? It was just love. I'm no longer calling you servants, because servants don't understand what their master is thinking and planning. No, I've named you friends, because I let you in on everything that I've learned from my Father. So when we are kids, if I were to ask you to think of your childhood best friend, I guarantee you we could all think of someone. When we're kids, we just have this uncanny ability to make friends. Think about like when you were in elementary school and you would go out on the playground and you'd be playing with one another. There's no agenda. You're not on a sports team. You're not trying to, beat them in some competition. Just every day during kindergarten and first grade, we had recess. And you could go out on the playground and you would make your friends. You would spend all day with these people in your classroom. And so friendships were easy to develop. And then, if you perhaps have gone to a college or a university, it's really easy to form friendships there, because guess what? You're around people all the time. Like, I went to App State, and I had a hard time making friends at first. Like, all I did was go to my residence hall or dorm room, whatever you want to call it, and I'd go there, and then I'd go to my different classes, and then I'd come back. And I was making friendships with other people on my hall, but none of those friendships were really clicking. And then all of a sudden, one day, I stumbled into this place because of an acquaintance invited me, and it was the Appalachian Wesley Foundation. And they asked me if I would go with them to their Wednesday night meal. And so I did. There were 40 or 50 college students there. And what I learned is on Wednesday night, college students that are getting ready to go, do not listen to this advice. But on Wednesday night, they would gather together and they would worship. And then on Saturday night, we would do what other college students do, and we would party nominally together. But then on Sunday morning, we would go to church. We spent our life together. The Wesley Foundation space, was just where you went. It was our version of a frat house or a sorority house. Everybody came there in between classes and at night, and you just hung out and you just spent a ton of time together. And then you go away from college or high school, whichever is relevant for you, and it's called The Great Scattering. That's actually Mel Robbins' words, the great scattering. It's what happens because you leave either the safety of high school or the safety of college, and you all go your separate ways. And if we're lucky, we find a job, right? And then we have to start all over with our friend base. Because the people that we were either in class with 6 to 7 hours a day in high school, or the people that we were in class with or did life together with in college, they're not there anymore. There was a study done by the University of Kansas that examined friendships. They found that to even go from like an acquaintance to what you would call a casual friend, you have to spend 94 hours with them to get from just where you just know each other in passing to where you become a casual friend. 94 hours. That's a lot of time. So if you're looking in your life right now for friends or you're trying to develop a friendship, it's about time. And it's about being present. That's why it's often easy to, if you're an adult, form friends with your colleagues, your work people, because that's who we spend the majority of our time with. The study done by the University of Kansas also shows that to be like a deeper level friend, you have to spend anywhere from 124 hours to over 140 before that relationship gets to that safe space. And there are 3 things that define friendship and whether or not we really hit it off, other than the time factor. The time factor is just the bottom line. You can't make friends with people you're not around. But Robbins talks about the 3 pillars of friendship. And these are the foundations of what makes a friendship work or not work. So I encourage you this morning just to think for a minute and think about your friendships and think about them in these 3 ways. Because lots of times, like, have you ever lost a friend? You used to be so close and then something just happened and then over time they stopped being your friend or the friendship just didn't click, and then we beat ourselves up for that and we're like, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? I love Mel Robbins so much because she has this honesty and transparency about her. I mean, she is just famous right now. Her podcast is taken off. It's in one of the top 10. I mean, her book's a bestseller, and she knows her stuff. But in one of the videos that I'm going to send you this week, where she talks with on another podcast about friendship, she admits that this is one of the things that she has struggled with the most. When I read that in her book, I'm like, there's no way, you're famous. I mean, people probably clamor to be your friend. And she shares personal stories of how, like, she had this really, and see if this has ever happened to you, she had this really good group, and they were like tight, and every weekend they were at each other's houses. They lived in the same neighborhood, and they'd have block parties and all this kind of stuff. And then another friend moved in and moved across the street, and this was one of her longtime best friends that she had been trying to get them to move to Vermont for a long, long time, or Massachusetts, sorry. And they finally gave in and they moved to Massachusetts into her neighborhood. And they were welcomed in. They became a part of the group text and the cookouts and the block parties and the soccer games and all that kind of stuff with the kids and the carpool. And then once Mel heard them talking about like a cookout they were going to have that she hadn't been invited to yet, and she never got invited to. And she said it really hurt her feelings. She's like, how could they have a party and not invite me? Like, I'm the reason that they're even here. And she said that was such a catalyst for pain with her. that she started withdrawing, and then when she and her husband Chris would be a part of this friend group, she'd have an attitude and be snarky. And so finally they stopped inviting her at all. I'm like, holy cow, man, that happens to Mel Robbins? I mean, it's happened to me. Odds are it's probably happened to you. And so many times we have these things that go through our heads about friendships and like they're negative voices. And Robbins talks about that too. And I'm like, really? Again, you're famous. You have these voices? But in her video, I mean, she breaks down and cries. And it was sincere. You could just feel the authenticity because she talks about how hard it is for her to make friends. Because the confidence that she projects is not anything close to the words that run through her head. Like, they don't like you. They don't want to be around you. You get on their nerves. You're a burden. Those are the things that runs through her head that get in her way. So if you've had any friendships that have like gone away or awry, I want you to analyze them right now in light of these three pillars. Because these three pillars give us permission to look at friendships in a different way. I want us to look at the three and then we're going to break them down. The three are proximity, timing, and energy. Those are the three pillars of friendship, and I really want you to just implement this, imprint it in your mind. Proximity, timing, and energy. So what does proximity mean? It means you're actually close. Like, you're close to each other. And one of the beautiful things about the society that we live in now is like, and we learned this during COVID, right, is proximity can actually be realized in more ways than just having to be physically beside one another. We can have friends that live across the country and still have some proximity of life with them. So I don't want to discount the digital presence that we have in our world, but research shows that if you live closer together and you have the opportunity to be together, that's what forms that strong bond of friendship. So if you have a friendship and it's struggling a little, ask yourself, do we have proximity? And if we don't, give yourself a break. It doesn't mean the friendship's bad. It doesn't mean they don't want to be your friend. It doesn't mean they're saying bad things about you when you're not there. It just means that proximity might be getting in the way. How often are you near them? The next thing is timing. Are you at the right place at the right time? Is the chapter in your life right now similar to theirs? Perhaps one couple is experiencing the birth of new kids and they're all, doing all that. And the other couple just has empty nest and their kids are grown. Or it doesn't even have to be that drastic. If you've got preschoolers and somebody else has kids in elementary or middle or high school, and all that entails, the nighttime games and practices and rehearsals, and you're sitting over here with small children, or you're an empty nester, those things matter. They weigh. And we have to think about that. If you start getting an icky feeling in your stomach like I did when we were playing that game and it was going so poorly, and you just worry like, this is bad, and you start to worry about your friendships, ask yourself, where am I with proximity? Where am I with timing? Like, if the timing's off, okay. Is there anything I can do about that? And maybe one of the things Robbins talks about that Jesus would have absolutely talked about is you err on grace. Instead of, like Mel did, getting mad, I mean, they lived right across from each other. It was easy to have a cookout in 5 minutes. Hey, you just want to bring your food over and grill out? That was easy. And things like that happened very accidentally. The next time you get an icky feeling, ask yourself, is proximity a thing? Is timing a thing? And then this is the last pillar, energy. You either click or you don't. Friday afternoon, I shared with you that I was invited to go to the Refillery. That's the name of the establishment in downtown Mooresville. They saw our products at Marino's and actually reached out to us on Facebook and said, hey, I really believe in your mission and your vision. And I believe in sustainability, and you all have some products that promote that. I'd love to carry your product. So I went and sat down, and her first words to me were, now you're the pastor, right? I said, well, yeah. Usually people don't associate me being a pastor with Soul Creations. And so I'm like, yeah, actually. And she's like, well, tell me how this started and tell me your story. And so as I talked with her, I told her about, we thought it would just be something that small groups did, but then it actually took off. And I told her about the back to school bash, and because that's what ultimately we'd like some of Soul Funds to go support, also our disaster response, and also AMPed, our online children's ministry that is an evangelistic tool to help kids know about character development, but also ultimately Jesus. And we have over 50 kids enrolled in our AMPed ministry. So ultimately, that's what we want Soul to fund. And so I told her about all three of those things and the work that we're doing in Old Fort and disaster response in the Bash. And she's like, oh, I've heard of that. I'm like, yeah, West leads that. Lots of other churches and organizations are a part of it, but we founded a nonprofit to host that. And I got to tell her about all that. And there was just this connection, because then she starts telling me about her business. And she's like, look, I don't want to charge you to have your products here. I'm like, you don't? And I'm like, everybody else, we pay. And she's like, no, this is my way of giving back to the community, to small business owners. And I want to buy local. So when I saw your stuff, I'm like, I already carry that. I want to support a local small business. There was just this energy. And so we started talking about ways that we could work together to offer this energy and connection to the community, like hosting a book club for the Mooresville community that of course you would be invited to, but we'd open it up to the community to help show people, hey, this church does fun things and they're a church and they'd love for you to come. I mean, there was this energy and synergy, and I thought about it. I'm like, I wonder if she could be a friend. And then I'm like, 96 hours, odds are no. I can't take care of the ones I've got. I'm being really serious. Right now, my life is so busy, and I'm not complaining, but pastor by day, candle maker by night. And it's a lot. And I'm not doing a great job of taking care of any of my relationships, if I'm really transparent, but I'm hoping midsummer life slows down a little. It's about energy and timing and proximity. Where are you with those three things with your friends? So how do I know if a friendship is good for me? Do you feel better when you're with them? Or after you've talked to them, do you just have this sense of peace? Okay. This is okay. I'm okay. Energy's a real thing. We've talked about that here at West before, the quantum world and all that stuff we don't understand, or I sure don't, but it's real. When other people walk in a room, they bring their energy. And when you're around the energy of someone, even if it's not always pretty and perfect, when you're around their energy, do you feel better? Do they make you feel seen, heard, and good? Jesus did. I mean, he must have just had this energy that radiated off of him, so much so that a group of misfits, more than just 12, followed him. They watched him be murdered. They encountered him in a resurrected way, and then they were willing to give their whole life for him because of who he was and how he lived. Find people in your life that bring you that energy. And then make it an intentionality. Not necessarily a priority, because what I'm seeing in people's lives right now is everybody's pretty much doing the best they can with where they are and what they have. We are in the most stressed out time as a society. Life's busy and hard and crazy. And just in my world, I don't know of anybody that's got extra time to give for friendship. So find ways to connect. Just send them a digital voice message. Just saying, hey, send them a text. Just let them know that they're there and you care and they're real. Robin sums it up. She says there's 3 ways of looking at friends. There are friends for a reason. There are friends for a season. And it's okay when those seasons come and go. And there are also friends for a lifetime. Think of your friends. Take the time to just send them a text. 10 seconds. Thank you for being my friend. And then when things get wiggy with the friendship, remember those 3 things. And give them grace. And bring your best energy into that friendship. That's what Jesus would do. He takes it that one step further than Mel Robbins. And as much as we respect Mel Robbins, we follow, I hope, Jesus. Lay it down. Sacrifice and love for your friends. Let us pray. Gracious God, we have such a beautiful example of an amazing friend. And Christ is our friend. It's a little hard to cover the proximity because it's a mystical presence, but it's one that we can be at one with and cling to. God, thank you for giving us that beautiful example of friendship. Forgive us of the times that we're not your friend in the way that we need to be, and the times that we err on selfishness instead of love. God, be with our relationships. Help us mend them, heal them, hold them to the light. And God, help us be the best friends that we can be. Thank you for our graduates. Thank you for what they have meant to West. It's hard to think about what we might do without them as they go on their next chapter of journey. But God, hold them always in your grace and in your peace as well. And may they find their new best friends. We offer ourselves to you in Christ's holy name. Amen. I invite you to stand and sing. So Diane, you are the winner of the online game. So thank you for participating. And Amanda and Maria, thank you guys for participating as well. We all have some work we can do, right, with our friends. So let's just remember to show them our love. Text them. Tell them you're thinking about them. And if there are friendships you're wrestling with, no, it's okay to wrestle. Just because it's not going the way that we think it should go, it doesn't mean they're not our friends. And odds are they're not talking about us. They're not dissing us. Life is busy, and always give them grace. Go and work on your friends. Amen.